Soundstripe.
Hello, welcome to Hawk Talk, the podcast where you can get all your news and all the happenings at the Batemans Bay Football Club in one place. I'm your host, Joel Erickson. That over there, I'm not sure what side of the screen he's on as always, but that's Mick Kenny, the co-host. How are you, Mick?
I'm good, thanks, Jolly. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. It's been a few weeks. The first time in a while we haven't done one of these on Origin night. And I think we might have to not do Origin night next year because I think we've probably
Yeah,
gone a bit of the jinx there. So
put the jinx on the Blues, I think, mate. So
yeah,
we'll give that up next year.
Yeah, that's right. Just too much stress trying to run around getting one of these things out and then watching Origin. It was a nightmare. Our special guest tonight is a man very famous around the club. He's this year's junior coordinator, but I think a lot of people know him for a lot more reasons than just that. It's Jamie Kemp. Jamie, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for having me on, Jolie and Poon. Looking forward to tonight's chat, mate.
Yeah. Look, I was saying before the show to Kempy, we probably haven't given the juniors as much love as we probably should have this year on the podcast. So this will be a great opportunity for you to tell us and everyone else that's listening just kind of what you guys have been up to this season, how your teams are traveling, and what's kind of caught your eye, what you've been happy with, what you've been unhappy with. We're going to give you the floor probably in about 10, 15 minutes. But first of all, as we do every show, we'll talk about what's happening on the field for the seniors in between drinks, I suppose. Even though Jamie's drinking, we're not drinking. It's been 3 weeks, so 3 games for the seniors. Last time we were talking about Buster Ware kicking 10 goals. He just went and one-upped himself the week after and kicked 11 in a massive win over Belconnen. And that was a game where I think he kicked 26 goals in total or something along those lines. It was obviously a bit of a funny one because there's probably not much you can take out of that as a coach, given the very large gap in quality between the two teams. But mate, it must. I mean, I experienced it last year, but you must be experiencing even more this year. It must be just amazing watching Buster Ware go to work when he's on.
Yeah, that game in particular, mate, against Belconnen, he just had it on a string and sort of picked up where he left off at Murray Bateman the week prior to that. So he's in obviously really good form this year, the big fella. I think he's 76 goals from 13, 14 outings. So he's eyeballing the ton. He thinks he's a bit of an outside chance, which to be fair, the way he's ticking along, he could be half a chance as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, he kicks kind of 7 or 8, which is a big ask, but he kicks 7 or 8 this weekend. He's gotten himself up to probably needing 14, 15 across hopefully 2, maybe 3 finals. So I'd say it's definitely achievable. Let's talk about your second game. Sorry, Kempy, what was that?
I said it's definitely a massive chance the way the form he's been in.
Yeah. Let's. I reckon we on the socials for the next few weeks, Mick. You put Buster up against Jezza, so you can get the ton first.
Yes. Yep, that's worth a shout too.
Let's talk about your second game because this is obviously a game that probably meant a lot more to the boys than your average regular season game. You went over the mountain to EPC Solar Park and did something that last year's team couldn't do. You beat Woden in Woden by 17 points. Tell us about that game, Mick. Obviously, that's just about as perfect a preparation for a final series as you can get. Woden in Woden. What did you take out of that game?
Yeah, I think it's funny, Joel. I think you look at the results and you obviously go, and you think, geez, they must have played well. But, internally we reviewed it pretty heavily and, we thought that we probably left a fair bit out there. We probably didn't play the best that we that we could, and yeah, to be fair, Woden obviously at home they're a lot better team, and they turned up, but I think that we took a lot of things from that game actually, that we want to improve on going forward, and a few things that we obviously worked on last week against Ainsley as well. So yeah, it was obviously good to go up there and I guess get the monkey off the back, mate. Like you said, it was the only place that we didn't win last year against the only team we couldn't beat up there, so or the only team that beat us. So yeah, it's good to get that monkey off the back, and like you say, it gives us won a premiership now, so 4 in a row for the boys, which is a massive achievement. Not too sure. Kempy's obviously been around the club for longer than what I have, but huge achievement to have your first grade side win 4 minor premierships in a row. Not too sure whether that's something that's been done here in the past or not, but yeah, we're tracking along pretty good, mate.
Kempy, you've Mick's mentioned that you've been at the club longer than he has. Can you think of a first grade team that has had as much success over a short period of time as this one?
I don't think it's probably had as much success, but there was a team back 07, 08, and that kind of started from 05, 06. So the boys went on to win back-to-back premierships in 07, 08. But I feel like the group the Seahawks have got at the moment and the way the club's going, I think the club's in good hands. It's probably the best team that's come through. And it's the thing is it's changing every year. You think you lose 5 or 6 players and you think, oh, where are we going to be from now? But these next 5 or 6 young kids stand up and yeah, it's an exciting time for the club, mate. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that game you mentioned against Ainsley. Not a surprising result, but the scoreline might be surprising to somebody who didn't watch the game. It was 63
Yeah.
to 16, and I guess Ainsley is a team that traditionally you've probably touched up a little over the past few years. What'd you take out of that game? I mean, you were inaccurate 8-15 as well.
Yeah, it's pretty ordinary conditions, mate. We tend to get that wind that sort of housed down to those trees at Birdland End. Get that sort of a couple of times a year, and unluckily that was last Saturday. So yeah, I probably wouldn't take too much from that perspective. There was a few little areas that we wanted to iron out that we probably still didn't achieve, I guess, or we didn't get to the way that we want to get it. But yeah, obviously we've got another week this week to hone a few things, and we'll have a really good discussion around what we can improve and what we think is going to get the job done in the finals. But yeah, I think internally everyone's really good, mate. Like we probably know that we've got a lot of improving to do, and we know that we haven't played our best footy. And I know that might seem a bit funny from a team that hasn't obviously lost this season, but I think as a group we feel that we've still got a lot more to give, and we still haven't played our best footy yet this year.
So just the one game left. You're the only senior grade on. Well, the only not counting the Rising Stars. You only about one. Let me try that again. We can cut this. The only one of our 3 senior grades on this weekend. You've got a game against the Goulburn Swans at Hanging Rock. Good way to finish the season. How are you feeling going into that last week? And what are you looking for from the team as you head into finals?
Yeah, I guess it's last week was probably the week that we tried something a little bit different. So we probably went for a bit more of a plan B option last week. So that was just in case things didn't go our way in finals, we can roll back to that plan B. So this week I'd say we'll go back to plan A. We'll make sure that we're obviously really strong on that. Everyone knows their roles. There will be a couple of blokes that'll be rested this week that are just a little bit niggly, and we want them firing for obviously next week against Woden as well. So, but yeah, it brings about opportunity as well, mate. This next round. So I think we spoke about it last night at training. Um, we'll have a debutant this week, and this debutant will be the 10th person that's played first grade this year. That's graduated from our Men's Rising Stars program either this year or last year. So, as much as people probably look at results from that grade over the last 2 years and think that it's probably not a great success. To have 10 guys come in and play senior footy, this year is obviously a massive, massive success for the football club. And Or can probably announce it now, I'm assuming. But yeah, so the guy who will be making his debut will be Ryder Freya, who talking to Jared Thompson last night, I think he's probably the youngest guy to debut since Jared. So he's obviously still 15 and very capable footballer, and really excited to see how he goes on Saturday.
Kempy, we'll bring you in here to discuss two things. Firstly, this senior team, has a chance to go undefeated, to cap off 4 straight minor premierships, as we spoke about before. Can you remember any undefeated teams in this club's history?
I don't think so. No, there's a lot of the premierships over the years. In my time, you'd always lose that 1, 2, or 3. But this team that's coming through at the moment, they've obviously been building a lot over the last couple of years and just keep adding a few little players here and there, which keeps strengthening the side. But I feel like this is the year, and yeah, they need to get that one back from last year. I know a lot of lads would be hurting from last year, and probably going to make them dig a lot deeper to get that ultimate success in the end. So.
And
But
Mick's sorry, go on.
yeah, just to touch on that, those 10 under 18 kids that have debuted this year. So obviously, me being involved with the juniors, I haven't watched many senior games, but when the games I've watched, those kids have not looked out of place either. So it's quite exciting for the footy club going forward as we go into that next stage next year. So.
Yeah, talk to us about Ryder Freya as well, because he's a guy. He's a kid. Obviously, he's been with the club for a while. His parents both very heavily involved. His sister is also a great player. You must be, as someone who's been involved with the juniors, not just now but in the past, you must be so proud of seeing such a young kid achieve so much at a club like the Seahawks.
100%. So Ryder, I've known since he was a little kid, since he moved to town. Has always been an unreal footballer, as well as Tia and young Nash. They're all great footballers, but there's something about Ryder. Last year when I was doing the junior presentation, I think we called his name out for best and fairest in 2 different grades. It was under 15s, under 17s, and then I think he also went quite well in the under 18s. Is that right, Mick?
He did,
So
yeah.
I don't think he'll look out of place. Like my 2 young kids idolise him. Like when he picks that ball up, he's like a grown man. He'll just give you the defend off. And I'm spewing that we're down in Pembrey this weekend. I would have loved to get back and watch this game, but I might have to leave at get back at halftime, watch that second half. So.
Yeah, I mean, he played 18s as a 14-year-old last year, and he's debuting first grade as a 15-year-old this year. It's pretty impressive, no matter which way you swing it. Let's also talk, Mick. I was going through your goal kickers for this season, and I noticed the 2 names that were probably 2 of the more important players in that under 18s setup last year in Cal Dawn and Alex Makey. I know Tully Ware's been a massive part of your first grade team this year as well.
Yep.
Um, you spoke earlier about, the results haven't been going that team's way, but it just shows that it's not a lack. It's not necessarily a lack of talent. There's a lot of talent there in that group, isn't there?
It is, mate. Yeah, I think the overall thing is more so the depth, and that's probably something that myself and Bill last year, coaching that group, we probably knew that. Our top 6 was definitely not too far off any other top 6 in any other team, and I think we probably just broke that barrier down a little bit more this year. I think that probably Anthony would agree that probably his top 10 now are probably not too much different to any other team's top 10. So I think we're gradually building or bridging that gap, I guess. But yeah, there's so many talented kids there, mate,
Mm.
and they're only getting better and better. I had a phone call with Anthony today, and we're just talking about how well they trained last night, the under 18s boys, and just a whole handful of them that are just getting better and better, and I just can't wait to see. Obviously a big preseason. We bring Sammy Martin in, and really the sky's the limit. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with all those lads over the next few years.
Let's talk about the reserve grade team. You've had a couple of wins in a row, but sorry, no, you have. But the week before that, the first time look, I don't think it's probably going to be the first time in the club's history, but it's the first one I can think of. You had a draw against the Southern Cats, and it was a weird one because they had double the scoring shots.
Mhm.
It was 9-1-55 to 7-13-55. And from memory, I was tracking this game. From memory, you actually took the lead late, and then they kicked 2 behinds pretty late to come back and tie the game.
They did,
Um,
yeah.
mate. Looking based on, and you're going to talk about this, but based on this weekend, you've got a bye, so you don't have the ability to gain points. It's the Southern Cats that are chasing you down. That probably could be. That might end up being the difference between finals and not finals. What happened with that game? I suppose, is to someone who wasn't there watching it.
Funny, both times we've played those guys this year, have just gone down to the wire. So I think we hit the lead when we played them up there, round one, and they took a goal. They took a shot after the siren, kicked the goal, won the game. I think we might have been 2 points up. They won by 4 points. And then actually this game they did have a shot after the siren, and he kicked it out on the full. But yeah, to be fair, mate, we were very lucky. We were very lucky to come away with a draw. Like you said, I think it was 9-1 to 7-13 or
Mm.
7-14 or something like that. So, yeah, we were really lucky. But and the one point that we did kick, if you talk to Stewie McGee, he was livid on it. He was about 30 metres out directly in front, and Stewie kicks them every day of the week, and yeah, missed it. So we could have kicked 10 straight and won the game, but yeah, I think we're pretty lucky, mate. To be fair,
No,
and
it's
like you say,
football,
it
though,
could
isn't it?
be the difference, but you never know. If Ainsley do come out and obviously beat Kurma this weekend, then you know that 2 points that we got, that's obviously going to be the thing that gets us in as well. So
Yeah, well, I
Is,
mean, you still
is that
sorry.
game in Cooma or Canberra?
it's at Belconnen, yeah, yeah,
No, yeah.
Well, you still look. It left you with work to do, and you have done your job the last couple of weeks. You had a good 40-point win over Woden, then a
yeah.
49-point win over Ainsley. So, I mean, you've put yourselves in the best possible position. But I mean, given the way the team started this year, and it's probably a pattern that's been um, pretty prevalent with the reserve grade team for a few years now. You kind of started slow. You started gaining players. You've come home with a wet sail. Um, Mick, you've obviously played a bit with this team this year. Even if the results don't go your way this weekend, it seems like it's probably a season where even finishing fifth has been a massive achievement.
Yeah, I think so, mate. But on the other hand, I think our best 22 is the best 22 in the comp. It's just that we don't get our best 22 any week. I don't think we've actually had our best 22 available, and I'm sure Cam would agree with me as well. But yeah, it's just been one of those years, mate. We just hadn't had really good commitment out of our guys, and I guess that's Resi's footy. And after winning the grand final last year, I think there's a few guys that their commitment levels have probably dropped, and their interest in footy and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know whether we should be too disheartened or too angry, I guess, about not making finals, because I think if we had have committed a lot more, there's no reason that we probably couldn't go on to go back to back. But unfortunately, that's just the way it goes, mate. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get another bite at the cherry and play finals, and yeah, see how we go from there.
Mick, anyone you're willing to sneakily put on blast for commitment issues this year, or we
How long have we got, Charlie? We'll probably run out of time.
we might skip that. We might skip that. We don't want any defamation lawsuits to deal with. So let's briefly talk about the women's team as well. They have rattled off 3 straight wins since their only loss of the season. But they have finished playing football I mean, not football for the year, but their season's done until the finals, because they had a forfeit last week and now they're on the bye this week.
Yep.
But they're looking strong again, as they have basically every season they've been in existence.
Yeah. I think the Woden game was good for the girls. It was a really good test, really good game of footy. Actually, I got up there early and watched most of that, and yeah, girls played really well, and it was probably that, I guess, that bit of a test and tough game that they needed. Obviously, they had that good hit out against Gugong, where they probably played 3 quarters of good footy. That last quarter, Gugong got them, but I think it's probably gives them a bit of confidence now going against Woden, and playing, stringing together a good 4 quarters of footy, and yeah, they're really excited. They're up and about for finals, and I know they do have a few away as well. So Jess Williams, who's been probably one of their better players this year, she's gone overseas, and I think there might be another one or two unavailable as well. But yeah, we'll watch this space and see how they go. Obviously, got themselves in a good position where they get 2 bites at the cherry.
Mm. And Mick, just take us through the two Rising Stars teams as they I guess wrap up their seasons over the coming weeks.
Yep. So they had a bye jammed in there as well, Jolie, I think. But the girls, so that'll be 2 wins in a row for the under 18s girls. They beat Ainsley at home, then they had the bye, and they beat Eastlake on the weekend. So with a pretty depleted team, they went up to Kingston Oval on Sunday, and pretty ordinary conditions as well, and they went up there and got the job done. As for the boys, like I said, they're not disgraced at all. Their performances are really good, and they're probably just like I said, it's probably that depth issue, really. And just those they play for majority of the game. They actually hang in there. There's just little patches in each quarter where they probably drop off, and the class of their opposition just shines through. But the effort's there, and the brand of footy that they're starting to play. Yeah, really exciting to see where they can keep going, and obviously most of these blokes will play Rising Stars again next year. So I guess these next 3 games for them is about seeing what they can get out of these next 3 weeks, and obviously carry that into 2026.
Mm. Look, exciting times at the football club. I mean, finals is always that's what you play footy for. The club always a buzz when it hits August, September. So I'm definitely envious that I'm not down there lapping it up with the rest of you guys, but it's going to be a blast. I know that much. Hey, let's move to the more important part of our podcast, where we put our guest under the microscope. First of all, Jamie, you're gonna answer a few questions from old mate Poon over here. He's got his classic questions that have been a hit this year.
I think I forgot the questions too, so I'm going to be under the pump here.
That'll make your answers even better, mate. The best thing about this year's questions is that he dropped the stupid Palmy or Palmer question.
That's the only question I can remember.
Everyone was answering that wrong, so I'm glad you dropped that one, Mick.
Righto, here we go. The old Mexican over here. Righto, let's get into it, K-Dog. Favorite teammate at the Seahawks?
I think I've had a few over the years, but it'll be a bit hard not to say yourself, mate. I'm a big fan.
Thanks, mate.
Probably more favourite teammate off the field, because we're always laughing when we're on the piss.
That's good. I like that, Jolie.
Well, mate.
I think Kempy's just trying to get himself a permanent spot on the show.
Strangest food combination.
Oh, it's a bit of a tricky one. I'm lost on that one.
He hasn't done his homework, Jolie.
I haven't done my homework on that one. No. The questions have changed. I'll come back to that one.
Go to karaoke song.
K-Sam.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ibiza.
Ibiza, of course. The best piece of advice that you've ever received?
I'm stuck. Oh, I need a minute. I should have done some more homework. I was actually thinking about all the questions from last year. I was waiting for the 3 people you'd want to go spend lunch with.
Well, you can answer that. Answer that then.
Ben Cousins, Dane Swan, and Conor McGregor. It's a bit wild. Don't go into detail.
That would be the loosest lunch ever.
Deep him after that.
Poon, I reckon you could probably give him the piece of advice now. Doing your homework on the questions.
Preparation.
Well, yeah, he's always been big on preparation, but I didn't plan for it.
Last one. If you had a time machine and you could go back to any place or time, where would you go?
It's probably this is a bit of a. It's probably a bit of a probably more of a personal one for me. I'd probably go back to 2001, so I didn't get cancer. To be honest with you, that's
Yep.
as far back as I'll go.
Yep, that's fair.
I've lost you.
That is a very fair
Good call.
answer. That is a very fair
Yeah.
answer. Yeah, we've got you.
Yeah, we've got
Got
you.
you, Campy.
Sorry, I lost you. That's probably a bit more of a personal one for me because it's something I'll probably never forget and probably something I don't always want to remember.
Yep.
That is fair. Hey, Campy, let's I guess dig into the more. I'm not even going to say the more serious questions because Poon put a lot of time into those. So I
Yeah,
don't want to
sorry.
make it seem like he's just joking around or nothing. But hey, let's talk about your history with the club, Campy. When did you first kind of get involved with football here in Batemans Bay?
Started back in 1994 as a junior. So back then we had a handful of kids. It was under 11s and under 14s and under 17s. We weren't strong with numbers. You'd probably have 10 or 12 in each grade, and some days the 11s are playing 14s and the 14s are playing 17s and the 17s are playing reserves. So it started back in 1994 when I think I was involved. I was about 8 years old and I was doing the scoreboard, and the Bay were playing Ainsley, and I was the only kid over there doing the scoreboard, and I think Ainsley pumped us by about 250 points. And the next year we formed a junior club, which we hadn't had the juniors for quite some time because it just fallen over for some time. And then it just started from there. So it was me, Greenie, the Boyles, a few of the guys that are still around now. And then each year it's just got bigger and bigger. So I look back now, I think between 94 and early 2000s, we were just 11s, 14s, 17s, and probably 40 kids in total. And now you look back now, it's junior coordinator, and we've got 250 plus kids, plus Auskick kids. It's just unbelievable to see how far the club's come in over that period of time. And I think with those kids coming through, our seniors probably wouldn't be where they are today if we didn't have the right structures in place to keep these kids in town.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know for a fact that quite a few of the senior boys, if not most of them, are probably Seahawks juniors. Obviously, Mick being a very obvious exception to that rule, mate. You grew up in the wrong part of the world, Mick. But Kempy, that's 30.
I actually met Mick, probably 15, 17 years ago, you reckon? And he'd never been to a town any longer than 2 years. How long we had you for?
Been here, I think we moved here 2012, end of 2012. Yeah.
13 years. So when he first moved here, he was coming for 12 months, and then we got him for another 12 months, and then he was leaving the year after. And he won't leave now.
He's told this story on the
We've got him for
podcast.
good.
I think he's told this story on the podcast before. He reckons one of the big drivers behind staying was that his missus got involved with some of the other women around the football club and made connections there. And
it was probably Gemma Green, mate. You probably got Gemma Green to thank, I would assume.
That's awesome.
So Kempy, 30 years at the club. Started in juniors. When did you start playing senior footy, and how long did you play with the senior setup for?
So I didn't play seniors until 2002. So 12 months after I had cancer. So I was 16 years old, and I was captain of the under 17s at the time, and played a few senior games, then played a few reserves and 17s at that time. But my probably first proper season in the seniors would have been 2003 under Chuka, Dwayne Jetner. And I think that year we had about 12 sent off in the prelim final at Yaruma, which is a bit wild. I didn't get sent off. I was the under 17s captain that year, and we went on and played the grand final the week after. But the Diggers beat us that year. But probably the first proper year was 2004 under Pedals and Bobby Borowski when we come from fourth and took out the flag that year.
Do you think I'd be off base to assume that Greenie was in the middle of those, whatever caused all those send-offs, or?
Well, Greenie was in the army at that time, so
okay, there you go.
He played 01 and 02, and then he went to the army in 03. So he missed the 03 prelim and the 04 grand final, which you would have definitely been in that side 100%.
Apologies, Greeny. That's rude of me to assume, but we were telling stories about you grinding people's faces into the cricket pitch. So, okay, so you start playing senior footy when you're kind of a late teenager, 18 years old. I guess when did you play your last game of senior footy, or are you still kind of hoping to pull on the boots for the reserve grade at some point?
I think it come to this year that I've actually realised that my time's up. I actually get a lot more enjoyment out of watching my kids and teaching other kids these days. But I still miss having a game here and there in the Masters, or I was hoping to play a few games in twos this year, but it just hasn't been. But I think I've come to terms that, I'm definitely time's up. But I actually think my last senior game, I probably would have been around the time as my 200th game, I'd say, Poon. I was playing Rezzies there for a bit and got the call up with my 200th, and it's pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I had a good year that year. 2017, do you reckon?
27, year before the flag. I should have kept going.
Kemp,
yeah, I probably played a lot more. Probably played a lot more reserve grade. I coached the Rezzies to flag 9, 10, 11. Then we're going for 4 in a row, and the Diggers loaded up with Big Red and Regan and all the boys, and they come out and smash us in the grand final by about 40 points, I think.
That would have been around the time you were at the club, wasn't it, Mick?
2012. That would have been the year that you started with us, probably.
Yeah, so I come 2013. It was my first year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kempy, looking back at your 30 years at the club, what do you think your favourite memory is? Is there a moment where you kind of look back and go, yeah, I'm not going to top that?
I think 2004 premiership's always going to be, I think me first senior premiership's always going to come back and be my biggest highlight. Obviously, I think for that whole season, we got beaten by 80 points, 90 points going through the whole season. Tough, we're undefeated, and we get to grand final day and end up knocking them up by 5 or 6 goals. So it's always going to be something you remember. Probably didn't remember much the next 2 or 3 days, but definitely enjoyed that day. But I don't know. There's some big memories that you're always gonna that I'm always gonna love about the Batemans Bay Footy Club. It's always gonna be home for me, and it's just there's too many memories in that long period of time to try and pinpoint, I guess.
Mate, you were talking earlier about how there's a few guys that you started with in '94 that were around the club in '94 that are still heavily involved, or at least involved with the club. Has that always been a strong part of the club, that real community feel? Guys kind of really feeling like as soon as they're in the club, they're kind of in. Has that always been the feeling around the Seahawks from your perspective?
Yeah, I think there's quite a strong core of people that have been involved from day dot. Like when I was a kid, it was always like your Sudsy and Papa Suds, Bluey and Pedals, Gucci's. I was kind of the kid growing up. Like I was kind of like the Lucas White of when he was a kid, and people were kind of ahead of him. But it's now Sudsy's one of those guys that has just poured his heart out into this football club and has been there since I was a kid. And I feel like he's going to be here for a lot more time to come. So there is a certain group that have been there from the start. There's also been people that have come and gone, but Sudsy's definitely one that's definitely hasn't walked away, and he's always put the footy club first. So
now you've seen the club through a lot of different eras. Obviously, you're talking about these premierships that you won in the Scarfle. Tell us about were you around the club when they made the first move to Canberra?
Well, I was mentioned before, so that was the year I was quite a young tack, and me and Greeny and all his brothers used to go and just watch the seniors that day, and we'd do the scoreboard or run water. So we're only 6 or 7 at the time.
Yeah. And
we done the scoreboard, and Ainsley kicked like 45, 50 goals that day. I don't think we even got one. And that was always going to be my first memory of Batemans Bay Seahawks. But I think we had quite a lot of players that year that went elsewhere. So when they went to Canberra, they all kind of backpedaled. Some went to Scarfle, some didn't play at all. So a lot of people in the past have brought up to me, it's a bad idea going over the hill, but we're in the best possible outcome that we can possibly be. We didn't have juniors back then. We didn't have rising stars. We didn't have a strong committee we didn't have the people around us that we've got, like the likes of Mick, the amount of work he's done in it to get us where we are now. I think we took that risk back in the day and it didn't work. And I feel like this is the right time for us to take that next step. And there's always going to be a small process and a bit of a bumpy ride in those first couple of years. But we experienced that when we joined Canberra back in those early days when we first started in the mid 2015, was it?
13. Yeah, it's
13. So those first couple of years, like, well, I think we won a couple of games here and there, but you look at us now, like we're Batemans Bay is an unstoppable force at the moment, and we've got people wanting to move here and play footy for us. So we're in a lot better situation now than what we were 30 years ago.
Well, it's about taking steps, isn't it? I mean, you mentioned that the first time they went to Canberra to try first grade, it probably didn't work out like the club had hoped, and they came back to the Scarfle, and you were probably one of the dominant teams in the Scarfle for that period of the late 90s, early noughties. I know you've won quite a few premierships in that period of time, both first grade and reserve grade. And then you mentioned you step up to Canberra in 2013. Was there ever a time where you thought, Kempy, that wasn't the right move? Or do you think the club, just from that period of time that they spent in the Scarfle, had already strengthened to the point where you knew that they were going to be able to stick that out?
Oh, you're always going to have slight doubts in the back of your head, but I always have having the club at heart. It's always been my best interest for us to get over the hill. Like, I got two young boys, and I want to see them playing under 18s or first grade in a much higher competition. Like, there's no disrespect to the Scarfle. I've obviously got some good friends, and we've grew up with a lot of the clubs down there over the last 30 years. But to me, I always want what's best for my kids and give them every opportunity to play at a higher level as well. And it's not just my kids. I really enjoy coaching, so it's giving everyone an opportunity to play at a higher level. And I just feel like we don't have that full support down south. The reason we probably left is because there was buyers, or people didn't want to travel, or there was too far of a gap between the top team and the worst team. So I think it was always going to be a challenging ride over the hill, but we've definitely found our feet now and obviously pushing forward.
I'd say you've more than found your feet, given you probably are the dominant club in that community grade. Now, I don't think that's a controversial thing to say at all. Kempy, let's talk about your position this year as the junior coordinator, because obviously that's a very important part of the club. Juniors of the future. We've said that before, but it must be exciting. You've kind of touched on it, but it must be exciting seeing that your kids and the kids of Batemans Bay are getting these opportunities to play a really good quality of football over the coming years.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously last couple of years doing the secretary role for the seniors, I told my wife I'm going to cut some hours back and go to the junior coordinator role, which probably doubled in time, I guess. But the good thing about this footy club is we all work together. So obviously Poon and Anthony have been unreal support for me. So it's something that I've always had a massive interest in junior sport and junior footy. So I think Anthony the last couple of years kind of built it up and with the assistance of Poon, but this year I've really enjoyed taking that role over, and hopefully myself and Anthony can keep working quite close together over the next couple of years to keep moving these kids in the right direction. Like, we've got a really good group coming through from Auskick to under 9s, 11s, 13s, 15s, youth girls, 17s, the whole way through. So it's quite exciting times with where we're at the moment. So it's still a few weeks to go to get through the season.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this season, because I know this year you started there was a second Auskick group started out at Browley as well, which, I mean, the more numbers the better, and the more parents and kids that you're getting interested in the club is great. But tell us about the grades this year. Tell us about the numbers. What have you been happy with this year? I guess from the perspective of a junior coordinator.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Mick's touched on this in past podcasts, but the Auskick numbers are probably the highest we've ever had.
Wow.
Since starting ever. And that's obviously big hats off to Poon there, and it's great to see. And I'm still in that group chat somehow, in the senior group chat, so I still chime every now and then. But a lot of those senior players are getting out there to Browley on a Friday afternoon and a Thursday afternoon and getting in and giving back to where they first started type thing. So it's really good to see. So Auskick numbers are awesome. The school groups that the AFL are doing at the moment, like I went over to Surfside about a month ago, and no one from the from the Seahawks were there, and we've got 40 kids running around playing Auskick. So a lot of those kids get a pamphlet and come down and try, and we've actually picked up quite a few numbers from that. At the start of the year, I think we actually picked up a lot of players from different codes just because it's just a really good environment around the footy club. It's a big family orientated. It's just a really, really good place to be around at the moment. So it's exciting times.
So Auskick numbers are really strong. What about the rest of the junior setup? Are you got really strong numbers through the whole grades?
The 9s and 11s at the moment, so obviously they're non-competitive. So at the start of the year, we did have a meeting with the AFL of whether we have non-competitive or competitive, or boosting the age numbers up. But we decided as a league to stay as uncompetitive. So Tay coaching the under 9s and Paddy coaching the under 11s. Both have done an awesome job with that group of players this year. So that the under 9s and under 11s, the kids coming through in the next couple of years, like some of them now are kicking left foot, right foot, where some of our older kids can't even do that. So it's really going to be exciting times in the next 3 to 5 years as they start to grow into their boots.
Just quietly, Kempy, I think there's probably quite a few seniors who can't do that.
100%.
But yeah, it's obviously been non-competitive, but every kid walks off there on a Saturday and tells me what the score is and how many goals they kick. So, and then we got the 13. So I've stepped out from not coaching my kids this year and coaching under 13. So first start of the year, full strength, and then I think we won the first 2 games quite easy, and then within the next game had six kids with broken arms and broken fingers and out. So we literally started to get a few of those players back on the weekend and won a game, which now has pretty much give us a spot in the finals. And I've got 3 of our best players coming back this week with Tia and Jai and Tomoz. So we end up training for an hour and a half, half an hour longer than I did last night, each week, and the kids loved it. So we're up and about, ready to go for this week. And if we win this week, we're pretty much guaranteed to stay in that top 4, which is it's going to be good.
So 13s are strong. You got sorry.
Then with Redley coaching the 15, so he's the same again. He's got a really good side, a few players in and out each week, but they had a very convincing win against the Rumour on the weekend by about 80 points. Up against Pambia this week. So when we played Pambia last time, that was a washout game. So we still yet to see what the capability of their players are at the moment. So I think they're sitting maybe 2 points clear of 4th at the moment. So if they win this week, it just guarantees them that top 4 spot going into finals rather than going up against Birmingham that last game of the year. So this week, I know they'll be ready to go. And I think I've umpired most of those games, and Jackson Melton's been quite a standout for this year, and he was also lucky enough to go on and play rep footy along with Ewan and Hunter and Manor for the footy club. So I think we had four players go on and play rep footy for the Scarfle this year, which is good.
Yeah, wow.
And then the girls have been they've come such a long way since the start of the year. Like a lot of them at the start of the year. I think last year we had 6 or 7 players at the start of the year. This year they've got 25, 26 players.
Wow.
I think she's got 28 registered, Kempy, I think.
What's that?
I think Lena's got 28 registered.
28.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the girls love her. She gets in there. She's getting a lot of footy training into them. I train side by side each week. She's getting a lot of footy into them, a lot of running. And the last 2 weeks they've obviously had a bye last week, and they're going to come up against a big challenge against Pambia this week. But I feel like they've got the right team to give it a red hot crack. And they got Grace Pike, who's been playing really well, and is also playing a bit of Rising Stars. Amy Collins of umpired quite a few games, and she's also been quite a standout. So with the new under 18s girls this year, I feel like a lot of kids now are ready to go for that next step as they come out of 16s instead of jumping grades type thing. So it's exciting for the club. And then with the 17s, probably been a bit of a challenging year at the start of the year for Dwayne, having players in and out all the time, but he's actually got the boys ready to go. Like they've actually been playing some really good football. Probably been a bit unlucky last weekend, losing by 4 points, and then losing to the Diggers, who probably are probably the best team in the comp at the moment, other than Panville. I only lost to them by 2 points, so they are going to scrape into the 4. And I feel like with the full team, they will give it a bit of a shake. So I think they've lost a few games by a handful of 2 or 3 points. So good sign for the footy club.
Man, in some ways, junior football can take a lot more. Maybe not a lot more, but it takes a lot of commitment from parents, especially in your situation where, with the Scarful, your closest road trip is an hour away to Narooma, and then potentially you're having to go as far as Bega. I don't know about Eden this year, but I know in previous years Eden has had teams, and you've had to go all the way down to Eden. I guess just talk to us about what the parents of the club are like, and how much support you get from the parents of the players.
The parents have been awesome this year. So it's been quite challenging for us as a club when we play away, because a lot of the teams we play down south only have the one field, and they've got all grades. So our under 9s are playing at 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're off to Panville this week, and my youngest plays at 8 o'clock. So hats off to the parents. Like, some of them are going down at 5 o'clock in the morning, or some are paying to stay in accommodation the night before, or some are even going, look, you take my kid this week, I'll take your kid this week. So it's been really been good signs from all the parents. It is quite upsetting with some of the parents sometimes, because we got the 2 grounds at home. So instead of playing at 8 o'clock here, we can play at 10:30. So a lot of them want to play 10:30 down there, but it doesn't work that way when they've got no lights. You got full grades from 8 o'clock till 6 o'clock. So it's been a massive effort for the parents. I know I won't say it's the last away game this weekend, because a lot of them are still going to play finals next week and beyond. So, and a lot of those finals will be Narooma, Bermagui, Panville, Merimbula. So there's still a bit of travel, but hats off to them for putting themselves out there and helping, doing whatever they can to get a game of footy for their kids.
Yeah, I do remember going down and covering a Scarful Grand Final day in Narooma one year, and I think it started at 7:30 or something like that with the first grade.
Yeah.
So, or the first junior grade, I should say, and then doesn't finish till first grade plays at 3. So you're looking at if it's a day like that where seniors are on afterwards, you're looking at easily a 10-hour day.
Yeah. I will touch on that as well. So on the home games this year, a lot of the parents have all put their hands in and helped out, whether it be the canteen, because we've had games with the seniors on the day. So some of them going and doing canteen, some are pulling the goalposts out in the soccer, some are doing the scoreboard or umpiring. So it's been this year I've noticed there's been a bigger jump in volunteers, and it definitely makes my life easier, and Anthony's and Poon's, when we've got that support around us. That obviously running a footy club can be quite challenging throughout the week, but on game days is even more challenging when you're there from 6:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock at night type thing. So a lot of parents have helped out enormously with that.
I wanted to ask you about those days. You've had a few times this season where you've had the big bumper day of footy at Hanging Rock, seniors, juniors, all on the same day. What does that mean to the junior half of this club and to the players especially?
Yeah, it's definitely been awesome. I think we planned at the start of the year to do 2, and I think we've probably done 4 or 5 about now. So obviously footy from 8 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the afternoon has probably been the best thing for the footy club. It's not just the players and the parents talking about it. It's like, I walked in the main street and you get people going, "Oh, how awesome is footy?" I drove past, there's like 400 or 500 people at the Oval on Saturday. So a lot of those kids, they strive to play at that level at a later date. So they'll sit there and watch and kick a ball at half time. And even on the weekend, I think we had about 30 Oz kickers at half time. So it's massive for the footy club, and hopefully we can keep doing it in years to come.
Yeah, how good. Jamie, what's your favourite part of being the junior coordinator for this club?
I think it's probably just building the relationships with the parents and the players. Especially, I was just saying to some of the parents last night, this year, coaching those kids, it's been awesome for me just to switch off from work and go down there and teach kids how to kick. And some of them at the start of the year could hardly handball, could hardly kick, and then we do the same thing every Tuesday, Thursday, and it's just the improvement, just watching them improve each week, and improving the relationship is definitely the biggest thing for me.
Perrin, I'll ask you a question. You've obviously spent a lot of time with Kempy at this football club, going on 13, 14 years now. What do you think the main thing that Kempy brings to this club is in terms of like why is Kempy so important to this club?
I think what he was just talking about, mate. Like he's just always there. He's always willing to, lend a hand, or he's always gives you a buzz during the week, asks what needs to be done, and that's just the type of bloke that he is. I mean, for example, on the weekend, he was obviously organising the whole junior day, and Anthony was away, and I had Auskick on at half time and trying to juggle that with coaching the seniors, and he just come over and grabbed all the stuff and packed it away, and but yeah, just obviously a great bloke to have around, and doing really good things in the junior space for us, and hopefully continues to keep doing that as well.
And tell us, Kempy and Kenny, Kenny. Jeez, I'm on one tonight, mate. I'll ask you both this. What is your favourite memory of the other person? Because you've done a bit together at this football club. What? And
You
look,
know we
please
we
try and
worked
keep it
together
always
for a long
PG.
time too, Charlie.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know you worked together for a long time. So
I
You
there's
go.
there's a there's a lot of favourite memories, but I think the hardest we've ever laughed is probably at the Adelaide footy trip. I reckon.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
I've heard some stories about those footy trips that I don't think can be repeated on this
Yeah,
podcast. So.
I think he's probably on that Adelaide.
The
Kempy
old
was on
parrot.
one. Kempy was on one. The parrot. Yeah.
Oh, how good. Kempy, tell us what are your plans for the next few years? Do you plan to stay in the junior club? Are you going to try and get back involved with the seniors? What are you wanting to achieve over the next few years?
No, I've always been a massive clubman, whether it be juniors or seniors. So I'm always going to help on either. But my heart's with the junior footy club, and always going to support the seniors where I can. But the biggest thing for me is guiding these kids and giving them a path to play at a better footy, and just teach as much as I can, and just help out as much as I can. But I always say I've got 12 months left in me, and I reckon by the end of September I'll need a couple of months break, but it comes around pretty quick, and then we'll be back doing what we're doing.
Yeah, how good. All right. Well, thanks, Kempy. Always a pleasure to have our guests on the show. You've been a good one. You even with
Just the
um,
questions.
yeah.
Questions,
Well, look, that's
yeah.
fine. But you made Poon feel special, saying that he was your favourite
Yeah,
teammate.
yeah.
Mate, I don't know if that was the honest truth or whether you were just lying to make Poon feel special. But hey, you've given us a moment.
He's a good lad.
He is a
We
good lad.
been getting some good feedback, Charlie. I think that Mardo episode was up there.
He was a good interviewer. I think Kempy's got him though. Like Kempy's just as good. Let's not be picking favourites here.
No
Because
favourites.
I mean, if that was the case, then bottom of my list would be
Okay.
yeah, obviously.
Let's just see how many views it gets on YouTube. Yeah.
I thought we were going to get through without you talking about Bacco, Charlie.
Well, I mean, I could ask Kempy who the biggest pest of the club is, but nobody's
Well,
giving me the answers I want. So
can we just talk about Backo for 1 second, but so
yeah,
I was on the balcony on Saturday when he had that shot on goal. I've never seen him run so fast back to the back line after he missed it. He should have kicked it.
Oh, how good! Oh, that
Anyway,
story's going. I'm going to write that down once we're done here. So all right,
all right.
thanks,
Thanks for having me.
Mick.
Anyway,
No worries. Thanks, Kempy. Thanks, Mick, as always. And we'll see you again in a couple of weeks' time.
Cheers,
Cheers,
boys. See
lads.
you
see
later.
you boys. Have a good night.